Hey, morning, guys. So I always question myself on whether or not I'm in the right place, doing the right thing, being the best version of myself. My wife, every night, without fail, are you training in the morning? I'm like, it's a question of like, I don't have a choice. Of course I'm training. Like, why you keep asking? It's like, it's not changing. I'm still going to train. I'm still going to try and be my best self. But it begs a question that I need to ask myself constantly. Is my loop that I'm in, which is consistency, which is your habit, which is your routine, is it the right one? Am I doing the right thing? Why am I doing this? Who am I trying to prove myself to? There's so many questions. And these are the questions we ask ourselves every day. And I suppose I ask it in a conscious way. And it sort of takes me back to some of the members and individuals that I've served with in the military. And they're always trying to better themselves and find what it is that makes them who they are. And it's odd, like I was in I had an individual and a boss in 2008. Dave Savage is his name. He's now Dr. Dave Savage. If you're listening, mate, love ya. When we did my second tour to Afghanistan in 2008, he was my boss. And I'm like, oh, he sounded real nice. He was polite. He was English. He had an English accent. He come from I think it was 3 Para over in England. He was clean cut. And I'm like, is this bloke going to crumble under pressure? And fuck, I was wrong. What a weapon. What control. What poise in chaos. This individual, his tone didn't change in contact. And we're talking about, a game of chess that you're either going to win or lose. And his tone, his composure, how he held himself, the direction he gave, the understanding of the people around him was next level. He would go, okay, what are your thoughts? As in understanding that I've done this before and taking my opinion into the equation of what next? Where do we go? Do we fight through? Do we break contact? Now, the scenario is, in the chaos of being ambushed, which is what happened. And anyone that has been in an ambush understands that you don't have the upper hand. You've walked into the zone of their choosing on fixed lines. And by lines, I mean those weapons have been dialed in to the angle that they want to shoot at. And in the kill zone that they have chosen, which means typically you're isolated. There's only one way in, one way out. And they hit you with everything they've got straight away. And chaos begins. Yes, you trained for it and you're lucky that you have trained for ambush drill. But we had 5 wounded this day and we lost Jason Marks early on in the gunfight. I remember getting out of my vehicle to go to higher ground because my vehicle was isolated, as in like we could not use our weapon systems. That's how good this kill zone was. That I got out to move up to higher ground and I had 3 rounds land at my feet. And luck. That was luck. Yeah, skills and drills come into it and dealing with it and understanding it, but you don't sit there and fire pot shots at each other at training to simulate live rounds. There's a lot of questions and answers. Anyway, so, we always test ourselves, and moral of the story for this one is James, after that tour, I think he really questioned what it was he wanted to achieve and how he wanted to affect the space. So gone from being a gunfighter, and anyone that knows how hard it is to become a Special Forces soldier, but times that by 10 to become a Special Forces officer. And that's, like, it's a hard gig, right? You're being assessed on skill sets because you're one of one. You're one officer doing a single job, not like multiple jobs. And, the ability to apply those skill sets. So, I did mention the other day what makes a good officer. Flexibility, self-confidence, knowledge in the area that you're choosing. Anyway, so James, I think after losing Jason and having 5 wounded, I think he reassessed how he could affect the space, and then boom, Dr. James Savage. So knowing what you're doing, and just because you're doing something and you work so hard to get there, this is the overall moral of the story, is doesn't mean you're in the right spot and doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. And just because, especially for men, it's a comfortable thing, I've done this, I'm just going to keep doing it, the money's good, but you're unhappy, so you're fucking miserable. All right, we have one life to live. You don't get to do it again. That's it. All right, we're born to die, so accepting death, sure, let's get amongst that, let's do that. But one life. You have one. To see someone get to 60, 65, 70 and retire, and then go into the shadows and go, I'm going to enjoy my retirement, and you've got 10 years after you've just worked 40. So don't be fucking miserable doing something you don't like doing. All right? Do something that has meaning and adds value to you and to the way you want to live your life. If you want to be a hippie, be free, be spiritual, do all that. All right? Don't let other people dictate to you what it is you should be doing. I pay you, well, why aren't you happy? I'm not happy because you're a dick of a boss, or this job isn't what I want to do. Like, everybody has a path to walk, and there is something out there for you. Find what it is you're interested in and fucking do it. All right? 3 weeks to High Rocks. Pretty happy. I did my sim on Sunday. Sad day. Yep. Sunday recovery was awesome. So much to learn from it. We did it in 1 hour and 10 and some change, and we probably had 25-30% left in the tank, running, and in and out of transition, which we knew was going to be the main thing, is probably our downside. But adding the emotion of the race day and the adrenaline that we know will be pumping, yes, we need to manage that, but I still think we're an hour 5. I still want to punch that hour. So that's 10 minutes to make up. So we've got one more sim to do, and we're not going to fucking stop chasing it. Going to challenge every day, and then I'm going to move on to. So I need to find exactly what it is, and I think when my wife says, what else am I going to do, or, are you training today? Of course I'm training, but what is my end state? What is it that I want to do? Yes, I just shook the phone because I was getting there. All right, so I'm going to get after my day, and I'm going to be my best self in the moment, and I'm still challenging and creating a narrative that I want to be happy with. All right, you do the same. All right, peace out, guys.